Business Focus with Kudzi Sharara on the Champions League Breakfast.
Good morning and welcome to Business Focus right here on Capi Talk. As always, we have Kudzi Sharara in the studio. Good morning to you, Kudzi. How are you today?
Good morning, Tinashe. Good morning, Patsan, and good morning, everyone.
Great. Thank you so much, Kudzi. Let's begin from the question we left hanging yesterday. That was asked by one of our listeners who said, am I allowed to sell treasury bills before maturity?
Thank you for that. So, naturally, you'd expect treasury bills or any other financial instrument to be tradable, and you should be able to sell them before maturity because when you bought them, they might have a tenure of, say, 3 years, but you now need the money before the maturity. So you should be able to trade it. However, it depends on the issuer whether they made them tradable. Because they might not be tradable, and also whether there is a secondary market for them. I'll give you an example. In 2016, during the Command Agriculture, someone was paid in treasury bills, right? And they were able to trade them, those treasury bills. They were able to trade them. So it depends with whether the issuer has made them tradable, and also whether there is actually a secondary market on with regards the treasury bill. So it should be possible. You can approach your financial institution, your bank or whatever, and they will be able to assist you.
All right, let's go back to the Zimbabwe Stock Exchange trading update for yesterday.
I just wanted to add again to say also, when you trade them before maturity, remember that you are likely to trade them at a discount.
Okay.
So they might have a face value of, say, at the end of when they mature, you're going to get maybe they were worth 10 million, right? But because you order money faster, you're now wanting to trade them. So you are likely to, because Munarmatora and for an advantage why they are buying them from you. So they might buy them at a discount. And it also depends nekuti kwarikumbo issue kwacho ma treasury bills ana kuwandere because kana achingoya market, then people will be like, why should I buy it? It means iwewe kuti ukwanise kutengesa ako, the discount will be much huge now because maybe government continues to issue treasury bills, so there are plenty treasury bills in the market. Now you've got yours that you want to sell, so again it will affect the discount that you might have to the haircut on your treasury bills. Now on the ZSC yesterday it recovered. Again we continue on that path where one day is up, the next day is down, and yesterday it recovered from the previous day's losses. So the all share index putting on 1.12%, the top 10 index adding 1.52%, and the counters that helped the market close positive: Delta putting on 5.06%, Wheeldale adding 4.03%, Marsh Holdings putting on 3.72%, Tenau and ZHL also amongst the risers. But the market was not short of losers. Ariston tumbling by 49.63%. Econet easing 4.52%. FMP, that's First Mutual Property, losing 2.22%. Seedco shedding 0.73%, and then CBZ also down by 0.636%. Most of the investors were putting their money in Econet. Remember, we're saying it's very liquid, the counter. About 16.7 million ZiG worth of shares changing hands in Econet. A sizable amount as well in Marsh Holdings, 7.5 million ZiG worth of shares changing hands there. Delta getting about 1.4. Then Masimba Construction and Seedco also getting a sizable chunk of the funds that were invested. The Victoria Falls Stock Exchange also closing positive by 0.46%, and it was on the back of gains in African Sun, up by 4.7%. We recently saw the likes of African Sun, RTG, reporting their financials for the half year to June, showing that in terms of occupancies during the period under review, they were higher than 50%, which is a good thing in the tourism sector. The average room rates and revenue per room, they were for available rooms were also positive. So probably investors responding to that. National Foods down by 0.58%. Again, National Foods recently released their results, and so again, probably investors speaking to that. There were, however, some losses in First Capital Bank, Padenga, and Zimplow. And then total turnover on the VFX, that is the amount of money that traded, came down to $283,000, down from the previous days, $543,000. And then other instruments that are listed are the ETFs. So the Morgan & Co. Zim ETF, it is made up of companies that are Zimbabwe-based and produce their products here in Zimbabwe. So it's called the Made in Zim ETF. As well as they also have the Morgan & Co. multi-sector, which means it includes other companies that are not necessarily the manufacturers in Zimbabwe. And as well as the Old Mutual ETF, Top 10 ETF, which is made up of the top 10 companies on the Zimbabwe Stock Exchange. And as well, so this Old Mutual ETF, although it is listed on the Zimbabwe Stock Exchange, it also have other companies that are listed on the VFX. They migrated, so they are yet to sort that out. So they all gained 14.49% for the Zim ETF, Morgan & Co. Zim ETF, 14.49%. Then the Morgan & Co. multi-sector up by 13.95%, and then the Old Mutual ETF up by 14.95%. So it seems like most investors were targeting to invest in these exchange traded funds. And then also the rates, that's the Real Estate Investment Trust, the Revitas one that is owned by NRZ Pension Fund, gained by 9.47%, and then the Tigere rate that is owned by proprietors at Teres Africa up by 2.58%. So that's how the markets were like yesterday.
So there's somebody who sent in a message here, Kudzi. Anzi chi chinoitika kuma shares angu kana company ikavhara.
You are a shareholder, you are a party owner of the company. Utori muridzi wecompany. So my decisions anoitika kucompany kuti izosvika pakunzi icompany yavharwa. It means imi mashareholder ndimunoappointa management. Yes, I understand that unongogona kunge uri minority shareholder. Imagine wakainvesta let's say muInsco. Obviously there are people who make decisions there. Vane mashares akawanda. But you want to tariswa sa shareholder in that company. So when it closes, kunotanga kwabhadharwa vakakweretwa necompany, macreditors ecompany vanotanga kubhadharwa, masuppliers, mabankers, those will be paid first after, let's say, the liquidation of the company. Kana kwazoitawo zvasara zvozoshayaniswa imimi mashareholder. Yes.
All right. Thank you so much. Hopefully you are well answered. So Kudzi, yesterday you were telling us that you were going to an address that was done by Minister of Finance and Economic Development, Professor Mthuli Ncube. Can you tell us some of the takeaways?
Yeah, he spoke about what they are doing toward the country's debt clearance. Remember, the country owes global lenders by about $12.3 billion US, and he was talking about what they are doing in terms of making sure that we reschedule our debts. One of those issues is what is known as a staff monitored program that they are negotiating, which is expected to come into fruition in the second month of 2025. So it's a long process for us to get to where we want, and they are continuing with the structured debt dialogue. They are continuing with those in terms of trying to see how best we can be assisted in clearing our arrears or rescheduling our debt, or even to be forgiven. My options anenge aripo depend on how you are going to negotiate. And I understand that they've engaged two global institutions to help us with that as well. So those are some of the things that he said with regards to debt. He also spoke about the land reform. There were the land reform that we undertook as a country, and it is costing us money, about 3.5 billion. That is supposed to be paid to the former farmers, about 3.5 billion. So he was speaking about how much, for example, this year they budgeted about 35 million US to pay to the 444 farmers that have so far qualified to be compensated. 444 farmers, and 35 million US has been set aside. They are also compensating other farms that were under what they call some bilateral agreement between countries. So from Germany and other countries that are going to be compensated, and they've set aside about 20 million for that this year. So and they've also issued some of these farmers, they are going to be issued 2-year up to 10-year government securities at a coupon rate of 2%. Saka chikwereti chiri kunzi ane government atine chikwereti chenyu tichapota tichikupai 2% pagore, and then in 10 years time tofanira kunge takupai mari yenyu yese. So again, that's another issue that he spoke about. He spoke about the issue of there's currently an IMF team that is in country. He also spoke about the issue of foreign direct investment into Zimbabwe, which he said is understated because we are only looking at the money that comes in, but we are not looking at the equipment that also comes in, and he believes that we should also count the equipment because we import most of the stuff. So an investor, for example, in the mining sector, anogona kuunza cash inopinda mumabhengi medu maybe 10 million, but owns machinery iri worth 100 million, and yet machinery is not counted as part of foreign direct investment. So you are saying our foreign direct investment is understated. So those are some of the issues that he spoke about. Issue civil servants salary increments, he said no, it's already accommodated adequately in the 2024 national budget, so it shouldn't be an issue on the side of government. Where did
we go wrong, Pazegi? Because there were so many promises when the ZIG was introduced.
So I spoke to the permanent secretary in the ministry, that's George Gowamatanga, and he said that most of the challenges that we are facing is emanating from zvikwereti zvatinazvo zvatakatora senyika zvinoda kubhadharwa, and zvikwereti zvakatorwa in foreign currency, and they need to pay that. So he was saying for me to pay zvikwereti izvozvo, I have to buy from exporters from their surrender requirements, and that is causing instability depending nekuti mari arida kutenga mumarket yacho yakawanda sei, achashandisa maziga akawanda sei. So it's causing this instability within our markets. But if you for more information, I think we'll share the Business Weekly will be out tomorrow, and then you will see more information about what exactly he said is causing this instability.
Okay. Right, let's look at a couple of questions also coming through, and this one says thank you for the Treasury bills response. My question is, can we safely say that big investors on the Zimbabwe Stock Exchange are dropping off due to key challenges, which are liquidity issues, currency conversion, and market volatility? And this may include uncertainties and lack of clarity that has caused investors' confidence.
I would say all of those could be factors, really. All those that that have been mentioned, they could be factors why things are like that on the ZSE. I could add also, for example, if I'm a foreign investor, we used to get quite a lot of foreign investors coming to invest on the Zimbabwe Stock Exchange, to invest in companies that are listed. But because they were struggling to get their money out, right? They ended up saying, I will just sell in Zimbabwe, wait for whatever period to get my money out, but I'm not coming back again. So that was also an issue. Another issue that is there is that now there is competition. My pension funds are ZSC mari yedu, for example, if I put my money on the ZSC to grow or whatever, gain and whatever, but I'll still get that money in a currency that they've got no confidence in, that is losing value. So what they are doing now, they are investing in all these cluster houses that we are seeing. My pension funds, they're investing in real estate and stuff like that. So there's competition for the ZSC now coming from the real estate sector. Because munazandikala vakaimba ndikaisa maloja achandibhadhara in US dollars. Ndikavaka more ndikaisa maintenance achabhadhara in US dollars largely. So that's where some of the money that should be coming to the ZSC is going. So there is now increased competition. Even private equity, kana chiti private equity tukutaura ma companies or institutions that are not listed. For example, kana mchimbenda wambopfura nekunyabhira uko, antokaona pane solar plant iripo yaya, yani yakuproduce about 25 megawatts. Yakutoisa additional into the national grid about 25 megawatts. But in my institutional investors, like vakainvesta into that plant. Mari iyoyo kudhara yangu yakustock market and a few, but now yakunotsvaga private equity. So there is now competition again for the ZSE. Yeah.
Let's see, 4 minutes. Okay, we can pick maybe 2 calls if you can. Call us in on 0772 269 229 or 0772 269 241. If you have a question to do with business, please drop it up on our WhatsApp platform, as well as to call in quickly. If we can pick maybe 2 callers before we wrap it off. But as we wait up for the calls to come through, Kudzi, let's get into our financial term of the day.
Okay, so our financial term for the day is a yield curve. A yield curve. So obviously, when you talk of a curve, people know what a curve is. But can I say a yield curve now? It is speaking to the relationship between interest rates and the time, interest rates of a security, for example, a bond, and the time it takes to mature. So naturally, you find that a normal curve, there's different types of curves. A normal curve is upward sloping. What do we mean? It means that for bonds or securities with a lower with the short-term maturity, they've got lower interest rates. And then those with long-term maturity, they've got higher interest rates. So they'll give you a normal yield curve, and is it an upward sloping yield curve. But sometimes you get a situation where the short term, those bonds with a short term, they will give you a higher interest rates than a long term debt. So that will give you an inverted yield curve because it is now downward sloping.
Okay.
So yeah.
All right. Let's go on the line. Business Focus. Good morning. Hello. Okay. As we wait for the calls, there's another message as well on WhatsApp from Shepherd Nyati in Highlands. He says, Kudzi, did the minister talk about the new land title offers? Is it fair to taxpayers to pay for land which will be given for given for free to a few select individuals?
No, I think they are still working on it. There isn't much detail in terms of how it's going to happen. Of course, he spoke about it, but nothing new from what we know already. There was nothing new there in terms of what we know already, what has been said before already. But to answer that other part, is it fair? I think, again, for me, it's not fair, of course, that somebody just gets 2,000 hectares of land for free and they're able to sell it and make money out of it. I would say, kana munhu adecide kuti nini ndichada zvemunda, right? Ndoda kutengesa munda. 90% yevalue yemunda iyoyo ngaende kugovernment.
Okay.
Iwo torakewo maybe 10% ndoyo tomuimpawa unayo semuZimbabwe. But 90% should go to government.
Okay.
Why should someone get millions of dollars just for free? Yeah.
All right, let's go on the line. Hopefully we'll be able to pick up on this. Business Focus, good morning.
Good morning, Tinashe. How are you?
Doing great. Say, quickly say, unfortunately our time yakupera ndikumbira kuti mungoti gaga on your question. Too bad. Right, no. Unfortunately, the time is up now. But
but tomorrow we'll just open calls. Are you ready for that, Kudzi?
Yes. I'm gonna talk on for my calls. Yes,
okay.
Yes, yeah.
All right. That does it for Business Focus for today, and hold this one, Kudzi, for tomorrow. How would you manage the floating rate on the black market and the official rate when doing business? All right. That's for tomorrow. Hopefully, we discuss more tomorrow, Friday. But otherwise, Kudzi, thank you so much for today.
Thank you, Tinashe.
Business Focus with Kudzi Sharara on the Champions League Breakfast.